Do you have a picky eater and you've tried lots of different pet food brands, but you just can't find one that your fussy dog will consistently eat? My Alaskan Klee Kai are very fussy dogs, and I've spent the past 6 years trying to find the best dog food that my Klee Kai will consistently eat, and it will also take care of their digestive system. Before I discovered fresh dog food, my Klee Kai would eat dry food such as kibble and canned dog food, like typical wet food. And I found that my female Alaskan Klee Kai would soon grow bored of their meals, and she'd also struggle a lot with her sensitive stomach. This resulted in lots of trips to the vet, lots of bills, and even some trips to the emergency vet. However, a chance meeting with a Samoyed owner at a dog park introduced me to the concept of fresh dog food. And when we lived in the UK, we found a brand that Copper and Sky really loved. When we moved back to California last year, we had to start our search for the best dog food for picky eaters all over again. And in this video, I'm going to break down my 5 best options for picky eaters based upon my experience trying different food brands on my really fussy Alaskan Klee Kai dogs. My name is Kieran and I'm one part of Life with Klee Kai alongside my 2 dogs Sky and Copper, who are extremely fussy eaters, and my wife Yasmin. I just want to let you know that I've not been paid to make this video by any of the brands mentioned in this video. And also I've ranked them in terms of Sky and Copper's personal preference and my own personal preference. So this is a completely independent video and I'm hoping that it can help other dog owners who have picky eaters like me. I also want to add that if you do click any of the links in this video or in the description below, we may make a small commission. So with that out of the way, I'm going to get stuck into this video and start by sharing Sky and Copper's favorite dog food of all the brands I've tried since we moved back to the USA. So since moving back to the USA, I've probably reviewed between 10 and 20 different dog food brands. And of all the ones that we've tried, there's been an absolute clear winner with my picky Alaskan Klee Kai dogs. And that's We Feed Raw. Now Sky is really fussy and she rarely gets excited by mealtime. Usually Copper will go over to his bowl first, finish his food, and then Sky might wander over and have some of her food. However, she showed unbelievable mealtime excitement with We Feed Raw. I honestly couldn't believe my eyes at just how excited she got. She followed me to the freezer as I got her food out. She sat and waited for me to prepare her meals. Then she followed me over, spinning in circles before I put her dog bowl on the ground. We Feed Raw make raw feeding really easy if you are unfamiliar with this particular pet food format. To get started, you just fill out their sign-up questionnaire. You can pick from 6 recipes, which is a lot of variety if you do have a picky eater, and something that I really liked because I like to vary Sky and Copper's protein sources. And then once you've made your selections, We Feed Raw will come up with a custom meal plan. Your raw dog food will be shipped frozen to your door, and then when you do get your box, you'll need to store it in the freezer and then keep some meals in your fridge defrosted. When it comes to mealtime, it's easy to serve to your dogs. All you have to do is cut open the packet, make sure that you are following their portion guideline, and then put it in your dog's bowl. Sky and Copper both loved We Feed Raw, and although Copper is a bit more food motivated than Sky, it was Sky's reaction to their food that really convinced me that this was the #1 food for picky eaters in the USA. I have never seen her show so much mealtime excitement. We started with our subscription to We Feed Raw back in October, and we have continued to feed We Feed Raw up until the present day. And Sky's enthusiasm for their meals has not waned at all, and she still finishes every single one of their meals. In fact, I've actually had to invest in a slow feeder to slow down both Sky and Copper, such as the speed of which they actually finish their raw dog food meals. If you're someone that has tried raw dog food in the past and you found it to be very expensive, I believe We Feed Raw is really competitively priced, especially when compared to some fresh dog food companies and other raw dog food companies. For Sky and Copper's meals, I ended up paying $193 per month, which I believe to be really competitive considering I'm feeding 2 dogs and they're getting custom meals of human grade ingredients and tailored to meet their specific needs. If you'd like to watch or read my dedicated We Feed Raw review, you can find the link to the video and to my review on our website in the video here and in the description below. You can also save 25% on your first We Feed Raw order, and you can also find that offer in the description below too. So my second option would be Sunday for Dogs. This air-dried dog food brand was also a resounding success with my Alaskan Klee Kai. Now while I hadn't typically fed dry food to Sky and Copper in the past, I was interested in giving their food a go, partly because of the cost of fresh dog food and how much it was costing me, and I wanted to save some money, so I decided to give their dry dog food a try. I was also impressed with all the human grade ingredients that were in their recipes, and they use transparent labeling so you can actually see each ingredient in your dog's recipe on the box. And to be honest, it's all human food that you and I would recognize and perhaps even eat as part of our own diet. Just like We Feed Raw, they offered a tailored meal plan, so you will need to answer questions about your dog so they can customize your dog's food accordingly. They offer 3 recipes: chicken, beef, and turkey. And once you get your box of Sunday for Dogs, you don't need to worry about making space in the freezer or the fridge. You can just store it in your shelf. You just need to reseal the bag once you've opened it. Copper and Sky really like Sunday for dogs, and I think that was partly because of the treat-like texture and also because of the high meat content. There's 90% meat in their dog food. I liked feeding air-dried dog food to Sky and Copper because it saved me money, it saved me space in my freezer. I could also use it throughout the day, whether it was on their walks or whether we were playing scent work games in the house. Sky and Copper really enjoyed eating Sundays. I didn't have any problems with their pickiness. They finished all their Sundays meals. I found that it gave them good energy, looked after their coat, and it also took care of their digestive system. If you're someone that has a really picky eater and you're used to feeding dry dog food and you're not prepared to go to fresh dog food or raw dog food, Sundays is a great option for you, and it was a real hit with my Fussy dogs. So if you haven't already, I believe it's well worth giving it a try if you do have a fussy eater at home. If you want to try Sunday for dogs, you can save 50% on your first order, and you can find that discount in this video or in the description below as well. Now, if you've been following Life at Klee Kai for some time, you'll know that we spent 5 years in the UK with Sky and Copper, and while we lived there, we fed them a fresh dog food brand. Unfortunately, this brand did not operate in the USA. If they had, we probably wouldn't have changed from this dog food brand because Sky and Copper really loved their recipes. They had up to 10 recipes, so that gave us a lot of variety at mealtime. In the USA, I've reviewed a lot of the best fresh dog food brands, and of all the ones that provide fresh meals, I think the Farmer's Dog is the best. They use human grade ingredients in their recipes. They offer 4 different recipes at the time of filming. You get a custom meal plan. Their recipes are gently cooked, so all the nutritional goodness and the natural flavor is locked in. And of course, it's delivered to your door, so you don't have to worry about picking up pet food at your local supermarket or pet store again. Now, the Farmer's Dog will require space in your freezer, so you will need to make some room. What really impressed me about the Farmer's Dog was the fact that they customize their recipes and they truly follow through on that customization and the pre-portioned aspect of their dog food service. Copper needs to lose a little bit of weight and Sky needs to gain a little bit of weight. And what I liked is that they actually labeled their individual meals. So when it came to feeding Sky and Copper, I knew which beef recipe was for Sky and which beef recipe was for Copper. So it felt good to know that we were working towards their weight goals. Not only that, but the Farmer's Dog followed through on the pre-portion guidelines. So they actually have a portion guideline on each meal packet, so you can see how much of that particular meal packet you have to feed to your dog. That wasn't the case with virtually all the other fresh frozen meal companies that I have reviewed. Now, of all the fresh frozen meal companies that I have reviewed, the Farmer's Dog was actually the cheapest. Sky and Copper's meals came in around $190 per month. I thought that was exceptional value considering that most other dog food brands like Ollie and Nom Nom were charging me upwards of $250 to $300 a month. Copper and Sky did enjoy the Farmer's Dog recipes. Their particular favorites were beef and chicken. Sky wasn't a massive fan of the turkey recipe, so if you do have a picky eater and you want to give the Farmer's Dog a go, I wouldn't recommend starting with the turkey recipe. I found that Sky and even Copper weren't particular fans of that particular protein source. We also have a 50% discount for the Farmer's Dog, so if you do want to give it a go, you can save 50% on your first box. Overall, we had good success with the Farmer's Dog, and like I said, of all the fresh frozen meal companies that we have reviewed in the USA, it was Sky and Copper's favorite, and that's why I've included it in this video. I wanted to include Mave in this video because Sky and Copper were really excited to eat their meals. Now, Mave is a raw dog food company. They slightly differ to We Feed Raw because they offer frozen meals. So you actually don't need to defrost their food when you take it out of the freezer. All you need to do is take the bag out of the freezer, scoop the food out and put it directly into your dog's bowl, and your dog can get stuck into it straight away. Mave explained that the frozen food is actually good for dental hygiene and it can slow down fast eaters like Copper. What really impressed me when I opened the Mave bag was the vibrant colors inside the bag. I could see chunks of meat, fruit, and vegetables. Sky and Copper showed so much mealtime excitement with Mave, and I was really impressed. Now, they only have 2 recipes, chicken and beef, but they do have specific health formulations, including anxiety and calming, which is what I got for Sky and Copper because they both suffer with separation anxiety. And when I was feeding Mave, I did notice a slight improvement on their anxiety levels. Ultimately, we didn't stick with Mave for one particular reason, and that was that after a while, Sky and Copper were still really excited to eat their food. They'd either leave it in their dog bowl, but very often they would actually pick out the fruit and veg and leave it by the side of the bowl. As someone that has a toddler at home, it wasn't ideal to have dog food on the floor because my toddler is very inquisitive, and we found that a couple of times she would actually find the food and have it in her hands, and you can probably guess what might happen from there. So ultimately, we decided not to continue with Mave just because for our personal circumstances, it wasn't quite the right fit. But I would say that if you do have a picky eater, I'm pretty confident that they would enjoy Mave based upon the reaction of Sky and Copper. Mave are quite fairly priced, and although they do offer a customized meal plan, I did find that their questionnaire wasn't quite as thorough as the other brands that I am mentioning in this video. Based upon Sky and Copper's reaction and their consistent reaction to Mave over the course of a couple of months, I wanted to give them a mention here because they could be a good option for you and your dog. And you can also save 20% on Mave if you do decide to give their raw frozen meals a go. Finally, if you have been trying to feed kibble to your dog and you'd prefer to stick with kibble, I wanted to include an option in this best dog food video for picky eaters. Kibble is a dry dog food range created by Spot and Tango. Now Spot and Tango do fresh meals, but they launched Kibble in 2020 to cater to dog owners who prefer to stick with dry dog food. They offer 4 recipes: beef, chicken, cod and turkey, and they use a limited ingredient recipe. It's all made up of human grade ingredients, whole foods, real foods. There's no artificial additives, preservatives, or any nasties that you may find in some traditional kibble. They also don't cook their recipes at harsh temperatures like some traditional dog foods do. To get started, you will need to fill out their questionnaire so they can tailor Kibble to meet your dog's specific needs. What I like about Kibble is that you actually get a customized scooper, so there's no messing around when it comes to trying to figure out your dog's portions. You just get the scooper, put it in the bag, scoop out your dog's food and serve it directly into their bowl. Then you can reseal it and pop it back in the shelf. Just like Sunday for Dogs, it's cheaper and more convenient than fresh dog food and raw dog food. I fed Kibble to Sky and Copper, and while Copper really did enjoy Kibble, I found that Sky would only eat the beef and chicken recipes, and even then she wouldn't eat it consistently. She wasn't a fan of the turkey or the fish, and to be fair, Copper wasn't a big fan either. However, I would say that beef and chicken was a hit with Copper, and if you do have a fussy eater, Kibble could be worth a try, especially if you're reluctant to give fresh or raw dog food a try. So there we have it. There are my 5 recommendations if you do have a picky eater and you're looking to find a new dog food service that could potentially encourage your dog to more consistently eat human grade dog food. But you're probably wondering at this stage, what am I currently feeding Sky and Copper, and which of these brands do I recommend trying first? You probably won't be surprised to learn that we're currently feeding We Feed Raw. Like I said, Sky and Copper really loved these raw recipes, and I've never seen Sky react with such mealtime excitement. So for that reason, I wasn't going to change a good thing. We've been giving them We Feed Raw meals for 3 or 4 months now, and Sky and Copper are showing just as much mealtime excitement as they were shown in the first few weeks. We've also seen a lot of health benefits like shinier coats, firmer stools, more energy, and just happier dogs. However, we're not just feeding exclusively We Feed Raw. We're actually combining their raw dog food with Sundays. Sky and Copper like having different textures in their dog food bowl, and like I mentioned, we use a slow feeder, so I put the We Feed Raw meals on the bottom, and then on top I sprinkle some Sunday for Dogs. I also like the fact that I can use Sunday for Dogs during the day, whether it's on a walk, or if it's training, or whether it's doing scent work. So we seem to have found a combination that works really well for us, and we're planning to continue to feed We Feed Raw and Sundays in combination together. However, I'm pretty confident that if you do have a picky eater and you haven't tried any of the 5 dog food brands mentioned in this video, if you give any of them a try, I'm hoping that there's a good chance that your dog might show some interest. So there we have it. They are my 5 picks for the best dog food for picky eaters in the USA right now. If you're interested in trying any of these 5 dog food brands, then please do head to the description below where you'll find a link to my article on my website, and you'll also find all the best discounts that we can currently offer for the 5 dog food brands that I've mentioned. I'll keep these updated so if they ever change and there's an even better discount, you'll be able to avail of it. If you have a picky eater like me and you believe in the merits of a different dog food brand, then why not pop it in the comments below so you can help other dog owners who are trying to figure out the best dog food for their own fussy eater. But for now, that's all from me, and I'll see you in the next video.